Good morning once again. I hope you can hear me. It's confirmed. Mr. Joseph, good morning. This is Oyikosi. Good morning, if you can hear me.
Good morning.
All right, so
Good morning, sir.
good morning. Sorry for the delay. I was looking for the form we designed the other time. Okay, so this was the VBA form that we designed. And if you can remember, we are trying to develop or automate employees' data, whereby this form will be submitting value into this Excel sheet. So which means that the users are not going to impute these details directly here. So these details will be coming from the VBA form. And we created this button. Our intention with this button is to call up that particular form because they might not know how to switch to the VBA section for them to be able to activate the form. So by the time we are done with this project, whenever anybody opens this sheet and he or she wants to impute employees' details, all he or she needs to do is just to click on this button, and that will call out this particular form. So we try to achieve the user interface of the form in our last session. That was exactly what we achieved. And remember, I told us that in software development, which what we are doing right now, you have to create an interface for the user's interaction. And that interface is what we have concluded in our last class. So this session, we want to take it a little bit further to start adding some functions to this input or some of the input such that at the end of this session, if we fill this form and then click on save, we should be able to see the values submitted here. So that is the objective of this session. So probably we are still going to have another session where we will now begin to activate the button, make the button to function as we intend to do with them. So it's a gradual process. I'm trying to take it phase by phase so that we can understand it, because if you are rushed, you may not understand it because this is application development. So you can see that we created this particular input to be a drop-down. So we're going to start with that. We are going to create a function that when the user click on this drop-down is to bring out the option. And the option we want to achieve here will either be female, male, or other. So in other words, we don't want them to manually impute anything here. So we are a kind of rendering them form of assistance that, okay, you can type this yourself, you can type this yourself, but once you get here, we have already made provision for the categories of values that you are expected to type. Just click on the drop down and pick. The same thing we are going to do for this. We are going to achieve all that in this section. In fact, that is my major focus. So we will try and see if they also click here, we must have programs different departments that they can choose from. So that is our objective. Like I said, at the end of this session, what are we going to achieve? We should be able to fill this entire form and then get the values outputted here. So if you fill any time, anytime you fill it, the values will be saved in this particular Excel sheet. Okay, so that takes us to writing VBA's code. This you are writing VBA code for the list dropdown. So we're going to start with that, like I just explained now. Where is the list dropdown? This is the list dropdown. So we have just two of them. So we are going to start by creating VBA function. You can see that if I click now, nothing is showing because we have not really functioned it. We just created what? The box or the input. All right. So how do we go about this? You will just simply double click on it here. Once you double click on it, that particular place you want to create that function, as soon as you double click on it, then it opens in the VBA development environment. So from the basics we have done so far, I don't think anybody is strange to this. So you are simply, like I said, you double click and then that brings you here. So the next thing you are going to do the moment you are here, you come to this very section and then we are going to pick an option here. Let's see what we have here. What do we have here? So this is a drop down button, click. So you open it like this. And then here we are selecting UserForm. Okay, so those are the two things you need to change. Once you come here, you expand it. Now, we have to delete this particular section. You remove this section and you also remove the top section. So the only procedure that we need is this one. Remember that we have talked about sub procedures. So instead of me manually creating the sub procedure is what I just achieved by just double clicking on that particular list, and the sub procedure has been created to be a private sub. Then remember this was the it got this from the name that we gave to that particular item when we were naming them in our last session. And then this is the procedure name, and then of course all your code will now be written here. So the first thing you are going to do, you are going to call the name of each of these buttons. Now let me take us back to the user interface. We have left there now. If you remember, if I double click on this form to bring it back, you will notice that if I click here, what is the name? Remember, the name is CMB gender. Then if you click here, this one is CMB department. So we are going to capture them with their names in that section that we got right now. Right? So now I'm going back. Sorry, I'm going back. I just want to bring us back here. So let me double click to go back. All right. So now I just want us to understand why I'm going to call the name I'm going to call right now. So that name I can indent just to enhance my code formatting, nothing else. All right. You can decide to write everything here, but I prefer indenting. So we are going to call the name CMB, the way it is, remember, is case sensitive. CMB gender. That is, we are programming for the one of gender first. After that, we program for the department. And all of them will be written in this private sub. Right? Gender, then dot, list. So list is an attribute already in what? VBA, to show that, okay, what you are creating is a drop-down list. Then after that, we are going to equate it with an array. What is an array in programming? An array is it's like a variable that can hold multiple values. All right? Though in Python, we learned it as list or tuple. Once a variable can hold multiple value. So what we are doing here is that we are storing, so in this case, our variable name is CMB gender, while we are concatenating it with the VBA property that will allow us to list the item, and we are equating it to the values we would like to see when the user click on the dropdown. And what is the value? We are going to use the array function. We're going to use the array function. So being a function, we have to open the parenthesis bracket. So the moment you open the bracket, it's asking us for parameter array and argument what? List as variance. So now the parameter the parameter array are the values that you would like to see when you click on the drop down button. And what do I want to see? I would like to see male, female. If I want to put maybe order, I can do that. But I just want to focus on male or female. Now, you ask yourself when we talk about data types, that when you want to capture a string, remember that it has to be in the double or the single quote. So I'll call the name of the first item, and then the same thing, put a comma, call the name of the second item, which is female, and then put a comma, quote it as well. So if you want to continue, maybe you want to put order, you continue, but I am stopping here. So you close that. So with that, I have captured what? Our gender list. Like I told us, we are writing all our functions in this private sub. All right? So I want to capture the one of department. So the same thing, I will capture the name that we just discovered, and I don't want to go back. CMB department. You follow it exactly the way you saved it. So that is why we need to make sure we take note of all this. Now, dot, to show that it's also going to be a list objects. And then we are also equating it to another array. Then let me mention the various departments. So even if there are 20, you list all of them. So they are also string. For that reason, I need to put them in brackets. So let's say I have mechanical departments, and then I also have electrical departments. Please let me get a response at least from one person to show you to know if we are following, please. Electrical departments.
Yes, sir.
Okay, electrical department, and then let's say HR department. I'm just assuming this, your own, you can work with what you are given exactly. Accounting or accountant. Okay, so you close it. So with this, you are programmed for the to list. Now, after this, remember that you have to save. Now, let's go back to the form and see what we get. So if I double click on the form and I come here and click now, let's go to, have we acknowledged this properly? Okay. So let me move from here. Alt F11, then I click. Supposed to have started showing what is wrong here. Just a minute. Please. Okay, so we want to debug. Remember, it's part of programming. It was not run from debugging. So we want to debug why is the form not responding. So I click here, and then what I want to be able to see, I want to see all those values that we have programmed. If I click here, I should be able to see them. So the singular reason why they could not be showing could be either maybe it's not activated. So like I told us that from here, we are to choose the user form. We are to choose the user form. Remember that we later remove it. And I think this particular code will have been written inside the user form. So we wrote it outside. So now what I'm going to do is to capture this. Control C. Let me bring it to this. Right? So because we have to write them inside the user form. Now, the next thing is we have to activate it. So we'll come here and look for activation. We have activate. Yes, we have to activate it. So, like I told us, we have to remove this one now because this was not written in the user form. And which means that we're supposed to please make sure you avoid this kind of mistake. You are supposed to change to user form here, then change to activate before you start writing your code. Both of them must be selected first. So that is why I'm relocating this now, because at this point here, I did not activate. I've only chosen the user form. So which means that the user form exists, but it's not active. So that is why I have to switch here, activate, then here. Now, let me run it. You run it. Good. Now, when you run it, it should be able to bring out the form. Remember, we already know how to run. Now, if I click here now, you can see the option. If I click here now, you can see the option. So I'll give us a few minutes to achieve this. Take note of those few corrections that we did. Take note of those 2 corrections. So make sure that you switch to user form and activate. Then the one that came out, or the one that will come out when you select user form and activate, that is the one you write your code in. Every other one, you delete them. Let me get a response if it is clear before I give us the few minutes to achieve it. I hope it's clear now. Mr. Joseph, and are we good? Because I want us to achieve the same thing before I proceed.
Sorry, can you re-explain the
user
form?
Let me copy this one out temporarily. Let me take it out, copy. Or let's say, let me just copy it. So let's say we don't have any of this. Let's say we don't have any of this. I don't know why my keyboard is there anything pending? Let me check. Okay, let's take it this way. Let me close the VBA section so that it will be well captured. Okay, yeah, this is pending. I ought to have closed this. Now, the first thing is for you to switch to your VBA once you are in the sheet where you program it. Alt F11 as usual. Alt F11, sorry. Good. Now, you know that when you come here, you meet it empty. Now, let me double click here to bring out the form. So this is the form that we designed before this session. And I say you double click here to bring you here. Now, once you are here, don't write the code inside this. you quickly come here, change it to user form, and then immediately you come to this side, change it to what? Activate. Now, this one that have user form and activate, that is where you have to write those codes. That was the mistake we did. So now that you have gotten your own procedure that have user form and activation, you delete every other one. I don't need this one because this one did not have the user form and the activate. I hope it's clear now, sir. Then you run it here to see the outcome. If you click here, you'll be able to see the option. Is it clear now, sir?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so I'm waiting for us to achieve the same thing because I know we have all gotten to this place before we stopped last time. So I'm giving us 10 minutes. And once yours is ready, please let me know.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, have you sorted it out now?
No, not yet.
So what do you say? This is the form. The issue is from your form or from your code. Maybe
No,
share your screen. Share
it's
your
from
screen.
the
Let's see. Share your
okay.
screen. Let's see so that we can easily resolve it.
Okay. Yeah, can you allow me to share the screen? It's a show.
Yes,
Okay.
I have. Okay. So your department is spelled capital letter or true. Is that how you captured it when you were saving the input? Your CMB department. I don't know if you understand the aspect I'm talking about. And again, you are not even in the one you activate. You did not activate. That was the last thing I explained. You are writing it in the wrong way. You are supposed to change to user form, then activate from the other side before you even start. So can you clear everything again? Clear everything. Let's start afresh. Go back to the form. Double click on the form. Double click on the form there. Good. Now, click inside. Okay, what name do you have there? CMB what? Gender. Oh yeah, click on the department. Let me confirm that also. Okay, yeah, that is what you use. I mean, use capital letter. Good. Now, the problem is not from here. Oh yeah, double click here. Double click here. Okay, now, look up. Good. Change to user form from here. Good. Use user form. Or what did you use to save your own? Was it not user form? User form. Good. I can see user form. Now, go to the other side immediately. Change it from click to activate. This is what I repeated the other time. Click on activate. Good. Now delete the one at the top, the one at the bottom, because those one does not have when you change to user form and when you change to activate. Delete it as well. Good. Now we are write that code inside here. I hope you copied it so that you will not have to start writing again. Okay, thank God. Now we are run the code. Let's see. Run it. Click on the run icon there. Look at the run icon. Said what? The macro in this project are disabled. The macro in this project are disabled. Now, from your Excel, have you seen as macro enable sheets? Did you do that? From your Excel, that particular sheet, not here. Your Excel sheet, was it saved as macro enable sheet? Not here. Go to Excel. Go to that sheet where we created. The sheet we want to display the content. The sheet we want to display the content of the form. Not there. Go back to Excel. Where is your Excel sheet? Go back to your Excel sheet. Good. Is it saved as enabled? Go to save as. Let me see. Go to save as. Click on file. Let's confirm it from there. Click on file. Save as. Or choose a storage. Choose a storage. Okay. It's form design. What name did you use before? Give it a different name. Let me see. Give it a different name. Let's say UserForm. Just merge them together. They should not be hyphen. Well, click on save. Now, this sheet, remember I said we should name it worksheet. That particular sheet where you have the form. Here is the form. This one created another one. That is not where we are. Hope we have not. Click on that sheet one. Let me see. Good. Change this sheet one to worksheet. Change it to worksheet. Have you done that? Change it to worksheet. Now, press. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay. So let's see. Run the code again. Let's hope that something has not gone wrong. Run the code again. Wait, hold on. Determine how. Hope we have not missed it from somewhere. What you are going to do, there's complication somewhere. What you are going to do, you are going to open a new, sheet. What you have there is user what? I can see you are trying to show us something there. There's complication somewhere. What you would do is that you may need to go through it again, a different sheet, because the code is correct.
No problem. You can continue, sir. You can continue.
Yes.
I'll catch up with the video. You can continue the class for today.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take note and
all right. So okay, let me share my screen. All right, so now that the form, this input is working, this one is working. Now we have to start programming for the sheet to accept values from these various inputs. So that will take us to another programming, and this programming is just this one that we want to activate. That once the user fill the whole of this and they click on save, all the contents, the information should reflect here, should reflect in the sheet. So that is the last function we want to build in this section. So to build that, the same thing that we did, remember, this is the button that I want to design. So I will have to double click on it also. You see that it now opened its own together with its own name. That is the essence of that double clicking. Now, remember that this is where we have activated. Here we have not activated. So which means that we have to do the same thing. We have to do the same thing, or you copy it and bring it here. So there are two ways. It's either you take it out and then you add it to this. You add it to this. Then I have to change this so that it will align, because it needs to be activated so that it can. So as soon as I change here, it's already activated. Now, before you can write your code in here. All right, so the reason why I could not continue with the first procedure, because that one, I have already activated it for something else. So I have to continue here. Now, let's write the code here. The code here is that we are going to create variable. Remember that we talk about variable notation in Excel VBA, because we are going to be storing value. We are going to be collecting value from, we are going to be collecting value from the sheet. We are going to be referencing the sheet, and we have to store it. We are collecting, somebody enter his name, we collect it and store it in a variable. So just for proper code formatting, so I will write dime. Remember, you know this, which is, it means dimension, which is a keyword for declaring variable. And I will say sh as worksheet. So that is the reason why I asked us to name that worksheet, so that we are defining where exactly we are getting this information from, or the sheet, that the values that will be collected and stored in the variable will be displayed. So after that, so you just created a variable, and that variable name is what? sh, which means that what? Sheet. So just that you are representing what is coming from, we are representing sh as worksheet. So when we start writing our program, we will now do what? sh dot, which means that we are capturing the what? The worksheet. So I'll create another variable again, another variable, dime, what should I use here now? Dime, should I use? Okay, dime R can be any name, as long. Remember, this long is a data type, just to indicate the type of, when we're treating data type, talk about long, short, and all of that. So I have captured that. This is IR. So whatever name you use, you can use LR, you can use any abbreviation. So now the next thing is for us to, let me use comment to be explaining some of these things. So here, just to understand what we want to code now, we want to set worksheet correctly. That is the next thing we want to do. Now, I will now say what? That IR Remember the I, I'm calling it in capital letter R, then equals to. Now remember, when we learned variable, what you did here, you created empty container. Now we are storing it in a variable. We created empty container, and we also specify the data type. So I will say equals to, remember we said that what? SH as worksheet. So I will now say what? SH dot this workbook. This workbook. This is how, remember we wrote some code some time ago where you can talk to what? A particular sheet. So you are personalizing that what? You are writing this on this sheet. Which of the sheet? The worksheet that you name, that you have now set as what? SH. So you are saying that that particular sheet, that is what you are referring to. So this worksheet, or workbook rather, this workbook. Now, this workbook dot sheets, and then we now open the bracket. What is the name of that sheet that you are referencing? The one we name, I think, is workbook. Workbook, the one I was asking Joseph to rename, where we want the value to be deposited, is worksheet. Sorry, not workbook, worksheet. Worksheet, and then you close the bracket. All right, so that is setting. Now, the next thing I want to achieve, let me use comment, is get last row correctly. Get last row correctly. Get last row correctly. That is a comment. So I will also put what? IR equals to the same SH dot cells. So right now you are capturing cells. Then what are we putting in there? Row index. So we want it to count rows. We want it to count inside the bracket. We are going to reference the sheet, and then we talk about the row. So say SH dot what? Row. SH dot row. Then dot count, comma, and then we want it to start from the first one, row A. So we put that as a string inside here as row A, and then we close the bracket, then concatenate it with the end, because the beginning to the end, that is what we are looking at here. Then this end is a function that is going to do lookup. Remember we did lookup in pure Excel. So I will just say x dot s dot l, sorry, I capital letter U, which is like an abbreviation representing the S lookup. Then you close the bracket, then dot row. So with this, what you have done here is you have get the last word or gotten the last row correctly. Now, we still have few code before we end it. Now, the next one is to validate the name. Let me use comment to break it down for us. The next one is validate name. So how do we validate? We are going to use if statements here. If capital letter M, me, which means we are referring to the what? To the input itself. If this is a conditional statement, remember we talked about this last time. So if me, tst, remember we were naming this, which is what? Name. Remember that all these things are already in the program because we have already when we're naming the input, the employee's name, the law will say what? TST name. Now, get the value from that form, from that input value. Get the value from that form. I'm not supposed to be pressing enter. That is why it's showing this error. Then equals to, we don't know the value yet, so I will just open empty string. I don't know the value yet. Whatever the person imputed, grab it and store it in that word input. Then go to the next line. Then what will happen? Message. Remember our message alert box. Remember that it is case sensitive. M, S, G, and then B, O, S. All right. Now, string, please enter. That is if he could not get it, then it will output, that is S now. We'll talk about that. Enter the employee. That is if it's empty. Maybe trying to collect value, but discover the value is not there. So it will prompt this message as alternative value. Enter employee. Talk about is a function inside your an attribute which we assess that. Now we must exit. After this, we have to exit. We have to write our exit so that when we click, then it leaves the window. We must exit. So that's how we have to come down and write what? Exit sub, so that the interface will not be static there, so that it will exit and allow you to go back and fill once you click. So we'll now say what? Exit what? Sub, and then before your end if. Now, whenever you open a conditional statement, like if here, you must also end it with what? End if, to show that you are ending that particular section. Now, we will now go for validate ID. We will now validate ID, that it must be number. All right, so once I'm done with the code, we will see how it works. All these things, once we start imputing, you see what each of the line of the code are doing. So here, let me just go down and what? Validate again. Validate. What did I say I want to validate? I want to validate ID. I want to validate ID, which means that what? I want to make sure that it must be a number, so that they will not type any type of data that is not a number. So I want to validate that. And how do I do that? Another if conditional statement. If we are using this is is, remember the case, we are following the case. This is a function in VBA that is used to validate number, or number. So I will say if it's a number, it's a numeric rather, numeric, it's a numeric, then you open the bracket. So expression as Boolean. So it's going to either put Boolean value. Remember, we were taught Boolean has two values, either true or false. So I will say me, that is, you are referring to the input itself. Me, remember how you name it when you were creating it. I think that was test what? ID. I should be having here TSC what? ID. This is it here from the way we name it. Then we are concatenating it with the value. We are concatenating it with the value. And then we close the bracket. And then we will now say what? Equals to, we are setting the Boolean value now to be either false or what? True. So we say false. If it is not a number, because it's numeric, false. Then this is like the else statement. Then message, that is a copy message. Remember the syntax also, MSSD, and then boss. Then what are we going to see? What do we want to see if this error persists? So the person should be informed that what, please enter a correct employee ID, probably the one he or she's writing is not a number. Then you can quote it and then comma, then we put that same VBA critical. These are functions that enable that. And then remember, you must end the what? You must exit first, exit the sub, so that will not also be static on the window. And then finally, you end your if. Anytime you open if, it must end it with if. Let's take note of that. So now I will now go and confirm if everything is all right. And then if we get an error, it shouldn't scare you. As a programmer, errors are made or are expected to stretch us so that we can think outside the box, so that we can learn problem-solving skills. So it shouldn't scare you if you get errors. So let me run it here, and then I get a form, and then let me try and put a number ID. I want to check whether it's actually checking it. So let me put, remember we said it must be a number like 1 or 2. So if I try putting PRO now and I click on this, I get a message that what? Method or data number not found. Method or not found. So which means that it's actually, and you can see where it pointed to, that this workbook, that is where the error is. But now, before that, let's go back and run it again. Let's go back and run it again and put a number there just for us to be sure. So this is this workbook. I think there's an error there outside what we want to confirm. Let me check. Let me confirm something. I want us to snap the code and be writing it while I'm debugging it. Just snap this particular section that we started from, so that once I debug, we'll just make the correction. Because I want to switch from here so that I can debug where the error is. Okay, so the mistake we're making, let me see. Now, initially if we run the code, it was giving an error coming. That I couldn't find this object set sh. That I couldn't find it. Now, the error was here. This particular worksheet, we name it, initially it was small letter W. And the one I was using in the VBA was capital letter W, which is this, where is it? Here. So that was the issue. So I want you to write this code now. And if you run it, you open the form, you put, the way you confirm it is that you put a value that is not a number, so that we want to output. So if we can get this message, please enter employee name. Enter employee's name. That is to say that it's working. Enter employee's name, or enter, there's another place where we specified it, or enter employee's ID. Good. We can as well say what? Enter employee's ID, because that is what we are. Okay, here we validated name, and then we validated what? There's another place where we validated ID. Here we validated name, we validated what? ID. For example, if I run this now and I put a value here and I try to run it, you see it's telling me that what? Please enter the employee's name, which means that there is a value we have validated here and here. And we have only typed here. So it's saying it that there is no value here. So if I exit and I put a name, let's say Prosper, and I put a name, let's say Prosper, and then I click now, it's not going to show that message, which means that what? The validation is active, it's actually checking. Remember that we have not written, these are the only ones I want to validate. Every other one, I don't want to validate them, except you want to validate. That means you write another code again. You point to the inputs you want to validate. So with this, we have confirmed the code working. Now, the only aspect that will now be remaining is the aspect of, if we click on save, because we have to capture all these inputs one after the other in our VBA, so that all their information can be taken as soon as they fill them and dump it. So what is going to remain now is that, okay, after filling, how do we now transport the input to the Excel sheet where we plan to output them? So I'll leave us with the code for us to conclude the code. And then when we come back, we look at, okay, how can we now set the value into what? The sheet we want to output there. So just to allow you write the code, I would like you to snap so that you give me exactly this one that is working, and confirm it that you are getting that error if you tried not entering a name or ID. So we know that that aspect, that validation aspect is confirmed, and there's communication between the form and the VBA. So just snap this, please, because I want to switch to. Have you taken the picture, please? Let me know, Mr. Joseph. I think it's like network. I've logged the so you can see out.
Yes.
Okay, good. The last aspect, so that when you get the full video, you can apply everything as
Sorry, before you conclude,
okay, sir.
in the code, is it IR equal to or 1? I just wanted to be clear.
It's I, capital letter I.
Okay. Now the one, if you go down where you did the that's this IR equals to sh dot cell
Okay,
role where you have
yeah.
So that X is it still I up or 1 up?
Which one? This one?
No, go to your right. Or rather towards the end.
Okay, this one. Yes,
Yes.
it's I.
Okay, everything there is I, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. All right.
So now,
Sorry, where are you getting the I from? Is it a syntax?
No, it's not now the function this particular,
Yes.
the syntax, this particular function now work with the I. This particular one now, I think it should be let me do something here, because they actually syntax. Well, let me do something here so that we know this is capital letter I. You see the way it look like they are not the same. Then if you check L, so please it should be L, please, not I. Please correct it. It's L.
Okay.
Where
L,
I look like
all right.
L, please. It's L. Now, now the aspect that I just added while I was off the screen is this. So you will just copy this one. So you merge it together with this code. I want to explain it. Now, what you are doing here, now remember that after confirming the whole of this, that okay, now the form is communicating, because we noticed that we typed, we try submitting ID, we try submitting, I don't think Madam, she was not here when I did that. So when we run the code like this initially, when I've not added that last code, you know that we try submitting the employee's ID, but I did not impute the name. And by the time I click on save, it brought out this message. This is the first level of confirmation that, yes, your code are communicating. Because if, for example, the VBA code is not communicating, the validation you wrote for this and this, now we left this empty and we are trying to submit, and it's telling us that no, it cannot be empty because we have already spoken that you must. So once you do something like this and is seeing the exact programming, then you know that what the form is good to drop the content in the sheet. Now, going back to the sheet now, I just want to bring us back there so that we understand the last aspect that I want to work on. Remember our objective. Our objective, like I said today, is for us to be able to impute value in that form, and the inputs are submitted to the Excel sheet. So that is our plan, that if I fill the place of employee's ID, employee's name, gender, address, contact, email, department, salary, by the time I click on that save, the record will have been displayed here. So that is what I want to achieve now before we end the session. Now, what we have achieved so far now from here to this place is that the communication is good. Now, you want to now start sending the values into that sheet, and you have to capture the cell one after the other. Look at how we are capturing the cell with SH. Remember that you have already set the word, the SH to that sheet, to that workbook that you are in. So we now say width. Remember, this is where the first one stop, and then I added the comment here, add data in Excel sheet. So the whole of this code is just to add the data that the user must have entered to the Excel sheet. And how are we doing that? We will concatenate dot sets, that word LR, which means at what? Left, right. That is from the area is going to take the record from. Now, plus 1. So there will always be increments so that it will hover from one to another. Plus 1, then that is A. This is where you are referring to what? To the column A and the row 1. So value, me, remember I said what me means what? You are referring to that particular input. This is the ID of it, then the value. So the value of it in the form should be taken to what? To this cell. So the next one is B, C, D, E, this. Now, if you go to the form, let me show you where we are getting this. Let me go to this first. Now, this is column A. This is A. This is B. This is C. This is D. This is E. This is F. This is G. This is H. Now, let me go back to the code now and show you. You see that I stop at what? H. And why I am putting 1, 1, 1, 1 all through, to say that what? Everything that you are submitting will be in row 1 all through, not to row 2. So when I submit the other one, it will add it. It will add the first one to row 2 and go to the row 2. That is how it will be doing what we call auto increment. So you can see that here we are selecting that sheet and we are referencing the name that we use when we're saving the input. Each of them, that is what the input is collecting, the value, and sending it to the cell that you specify here. Now, if I run this code now, and I fill everything, let's say the first one is 1, and then the name is Aguero, and then gender, I pick it here. Remember, we have already settled this before. And then address, let's say what, 2, Lagos Street. Lagos Street. And the contact, Prosper 07069665919. Then the email is prosper.aguero@gmail.com. gmail.com. The department, we have already created that. So I'll pick, let's say, okay, Prosper is in this department. Prosper salary, let's say what? 600,000. Remember that all these buttons now will be our next class. The only button that we have programmed that is working now is this. So if I click here now, this is the first one. Now, if I remove this form now, if I remove it and go back to the Excel, let's see whether we'll see the record there. You see the record has been submitted. So I'll go back again and fill for the second person, and then I'll see whether the record will be captured here. So let's go there. Now, go back again, Alt F11. Now I double click here. Remember that while we are coming this way, because we have not created that show form. In the next class where we must have programmed that show form, we will not be coming all this. When you want to enter the next record, you click on, we'll just be clicking on this, we'll just be clicking on this button. Once I click here, it calls out that form. I fill and submit. Then, but for now, we are yet to program on this. That is why I'm going manual, going to the VBA manually. Now, let me run the code again and fill the next form. Remember, it is from here you are defining the number. Now, this is the second person, and then maybe Ojo should be, let me collect for female to confirm if that other one is working. Let's say this is Rita, and Rita is female, and then address of Rita, let's say what, K2 Lagos, and then contact of Rita is 080, let's say this. Email of Rita, let's say what, Rita at gmail.com. So let's say department, let me choose another one, salary of 900,000, and then I click on save. All right, now remember that we click on, we program exits. If not that the program that exits, if you click on this button, it will not leave once you submit. So now let's go back to this and see if we have it. So we have it here. So this is exactly what we want to achieve, and this is where we stop. So the next phase is for us to start working on the other buttons. Let me go there and tell us what our focus will be in the next phase. Now, if somebody click on reset is like if you fail all this to a point and you feel that you've made a lot of errors, I'll click here, reset, to clear everything for me. We program that function in the next class. Then this exit, instead of us coming here, we can always use it to exit. Then we can search, we can call back a value. That is what we are going to achieve with this. Then we can update, we can call a value. You can call a value and then you want to make some changes. That is what the update is going to do. And then we can delete, such that once we delete from here, it will also delete it from the Excel database. So this is where we stop. And I would like us to get to make sure that,
please,
let me take us to the code again. Let me take us to the code.
And so it's good. It's good. Yes.
So that you can
from the beginning.
Okay, I think this is from the beginning, Abby. Okay, now let me see. Let me take this so that we can see it very well. From here, the first set of code, remember we started with this one. And then we now enter here. Can I scroll up?
Yes.
Okay. This is the last part of the code.
Okay, I'm done. Thanks, sir.
Okay, all right. So please, it is a compulsory assignment. Make sure that you get it working before the next meeting so that we can be progressing together. All right. So
all right.
have a nice
Bye.
bye for now.